We're ready when you are.
Good evening. I hope and I pray everyone had a blessed week thus this far. At this time, we're going to call our March 25th, 2021 Human Relations Commission meeting to order. And I ask for roll call by our Secretary, Ms. Carla Duncan. And please state aye as president.
Okay. Chairperson Lee.
Present. Well, aye.
Vice Chair Wiggins has requested an excused absence. Chairperson Bloomfield. Guess he should be joining us shortly. Commissioner Haynes has requested an excused absence. Commissioner Preble.
Aye.
Commissioner Price.
Aye.
Commissioner Sarton.
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor.
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson.
Aye.
And Commissioner Usher has requested an excused absence.
Thank you, Ms. Duncan. And we do need to vote on those excused absence. Correct. All right, is there a motion to approve the commissioner's excused absence?
Approve.
Motion by Commissioner Sarton. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Thompson. Well, we're gonna, go around the Zoom room as well as stating aye if you approve. Commissioner Price.
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Preble.
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Sarton.
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Taylor.
Aye.
Thank you. And Commissioner Thompson.
Aye.
And of course, Chair Lee, aye. Are there any opposed discussions?
No.
All right, that has carried unanimously. Thank you so much for those approval of the minutes. Not the minutes, but of the roll of the unexcused absence as well. At this time, we're going to move into our approval of minutes of February meeting minutes. I hope everyone has had time to read those minutes. If so, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Aye.
A motion by Commissioner Sarton. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Preble. Commissioner Thompson, what's your preference?
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Taylor?
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Sarton?
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Preble?
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Price?
Aye.
Thank you. And of course, Chair Lee, aye. Any opposed? Any discussions? All right, that carries unanimously. Thank you so much for those motions of the approval of the excused absence, as well with the approval of last month minutes. I do want to say before we move into our agenda, we're going to allow Mr. Adolfo to present his staff updates, because I was told that his son is celebrating his birthday, so he gets a pass to leave early today. So, so we're gonna let Adolfo report. Well, but before Adolfo reports, we do have our wonderful city manager present today, Mr. Lee Garrity. Do you want to make any comments, or is your present this evening?
Oh, I just appreciate everybody's hard work. I just wanted to real quickly say, I know you all been following the city council's efforts related to a non-discrimination ordinance. They took a big first step Monday night. A lot of the work falls to all of you. But as we go forward over the next 100 days, and the city attorney looks at what our options are to have an NDO externally facing, it is a really significant thing, and probably the most significant thing, assuming we can get the authority, that this commission or city has taken on in a long time. I mean, a lot of the focus has been on the LGBTQIA+ community, but that NDO ordinance, the one that Greensboro and Durham has, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but that ordinance is much broader. It looks at public accommodations and employment protections for all classes. So it has real significant impacts, and it would significantly expand the workload for the staff for this group, wouldn't it, Wanda? So,
Yes, it would, but in a good way.
in a good way, right? Absolutely. So it's exciting. So I appreciate your willingness to bear with us, guys. I've explained to some folks it's going to take longer than everybody wants, but we measure 3 or 4 times and get it right. But we're going in the right direction. I just wanted to thank all of you for signing up for this. So I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, City Manager. Thank you. Are there any questions from the commissioners while we have our City Manager on available? All right.
I'll stay a
okay.
while, Chairman. Now, after all, Adolfo didn't invite me to the birthday party, so I have to stay a little while.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Adolfo, how old is your child?
Thank you. And he turned 5 today.
Oh, huge.
And Mr. Garrett, there's no party per se. In this COVID-19 times, we don't want to, to risk it. So we're just bringing, grandma and the 2 uncles, and that's it. I mean, it's going to be a very, very, very intimate gathering. But anyway, thank you very much, Commissioner and Mr. Gary and Chair Lee. So the numbers for February is we have a total calls of 543 inquiries. 87 of them have turned into landlord-tenant complaints. Next month, you will see that we have overpassed 100 already. I think we're at 112, 111, something like that. But anyway, we closed February with 99 landlord-tenant cases. We have also 8 fair housing complaints. We believe that, as I said before, that the pandemic has increased the number of calls that we have received, but they're not turning into landlord-tenant complaints until recently. You will see also in March that we have 4 more cases. So for the year until February, we had 8, but I think we have added, I believe, 3 or 4 more since then. But you will see that in March, and so those are the numbers. I think they're strong, and as you can see, we're probably going to end over 650. And when we close with 650, that's the average. And if we close above that, the total number of inquiries, we have a strong year. So that's my report. If there is any question, please let me know.
I don't have any questions. I do have a comment real quick. With the increase of the numbers, is that still related? I guess some of that's still related to landlords trying to unlawful evict tenants, correct? Some of that.
We would check. We'll have to check the numbers, Chair Lee, but I believe that the majority of our cases have to do with potential evictions. Not all of them. We still receive a lot of complaints about, things that are not being repaired at the house, bed bug issues, and some. So sometimes it's fees, but probably I would say 75–60% of our calls have to do with evictions or the potential of an eviction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do want to address this to the commission real quick. Now, I have working in the community. I have came across a couple of people have stated that even though that the temporarily law is in place in regards to no one can be evicted, I have ran across a lot of folks in the city stating that they are behind on their rent or their mortgage, well, particularly their rent, and they're stating that the landlords are now, and most of them are singing the same song, are stating that the landlords are refusing to renew their lease, and so the landlord understands that the tenant is behind on rent. So some way or another, the landlord is trying to allow the tenants to, really force the tenants to vacate the premises because they're not receiving their money. That's happened to 2 individuals in my congregation, and I didn't know, Adolfo, if you don't have it today, that's fine. But I was been meaning to share that with you, that is starting to occur in our city, that a lot of landlords, and two of these individuals live in apartment complexes here in the city, that the landlords refusing to renew their tenant's lease. And they know that they cannot evict them because of this temporarily law that Governor Cooper has in place. But I just want to put that out there, that there are some landlords that are basically going into another route to basically force the tenant to vacate the premises so they can rent the house or apartment out to someone else who can actually pay. So if you may not have that tonight, that's fine, but I wanted to share that with the commissioners.
Thank you, Chair Leak. It is very unfortunate that some landlords are choosing or trying to use different ways and different routes to, get people out of their places. We will try to assist each and every one of them. So please, if you know their numbers, or you can always refer them to me, Commissioner Leak.
I will. Thank you. And Commissioner, if you all hear something similar. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Chair Leak, can you? Oh, that's okay. I didn't mean to interrupt. I think I have a delay with my connection today, but just to make it clear, with the moratorium with respect to evictions, really what a lot of people don't understand in the community, I think, and some misinformation has gone out actually, but it is really critical and it's actually required that any type of moratorium applies to those who are having non-payment of rent issues as they relate to COVID-19. So whether the leaseholder has COVID-19 or a family member has it, or someone they're taking care of has it, or they've lost a job because of it, that is what the moratorium actually covers. Of course, other forms of evictions are free to continue during the pandemic. If it's an eviction based on criminal activity or anything like that that is not COVID related, those evictions are legal to proceed. And so a lot of people think that all evictions have to be frozen, like any and all evictions aren't allowed. But all along, those filings have continued during this entire pandemic process. And so now whether or not different courts are choosing to proceed with actually providing hearings for those and so forth may be a different ballgame. But that's what I just wanted to make clear, because there is some misinformation out there where people think that there is just this blanket policy that says absolutely no evictions under any circumstances can be filed. No summary ejectments can be filed in court. And that's not quite the case, not quite.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that, Ed. And I know we're going live, so I know this information will be helpful to our citizens in Winston-Salem, because a lot of folks do believe that they cannot be evicted because of non-payment, because of that temporarily law that's in place. So thank you, Ms. Wonderful. That's well thoughtful. Are there any other comments?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Commissioner Sarr.
Commissioner Leak, I'd like to direct this to Manager Garrity. We've got concerns about retention. We've got the most amazing human relations department. I mean, I've been a part of it as a commissioner for 4 years now, but we're looking at positions, promotability, retention. We're losing people. We lost Jelani Biggs. I mean, can you give me some feedback?
Sure. Commissioner, this is a problem. Chairman Lake, members of the commission, this is a problem throughout city government. We are losing, tomorrow is the last day for Assistant City Manager Evan Raleigh, who was over this area before. We lost him to be Assistant City Manager in Raleigh, Evan Raleigh in Raleigh, for a significant pay raise. So it is widespread. The last 2 years, we haven't been able to afford, other than a little bit in police, any adjustments. So it is a significant problem in city government. We're hopeful this year to make some at least modest pay adjustments. We are looking at some career ladders. We've done one inspections here about a month ago because of significant problems with inspections where we didn't have enough inspectors to do inspections. And we're going to look at rolling. We built that career ladder in such a way that we could put other departments in there as we can afford it. So all I can tell you is I know it's a problem. It's a problem throughout city government. And that's one of the things where it's hard to fix. It's hard just one area since we have 2,500 employees, but we are behind the market in several ways, several areas, and we are losing some people.
It just blows my mind that we lose people to High Point.
Mm-hmm.
Like
yes,
our
we've lost several people.
assistant, Al Andrews, I love him. And we've lost Jelani, whatever. But Carlin Duncan and Jamie Waldick are incredible.
Absolutely.
The idea that they would move somewhere else, because I mean, it's reality. They love it here, but they've got to support a family.
I understand. Absolutely. We are looking at some options right now. Even I'll be honest with you, even doing modest pay adjustments this year is going to require an impact on the tax rate. And we're already getting some pushback from the Chamber of Commerce, but we will be trying to do that. I'm not aware of a good way unless there's something the council doesn't want to do, and I haven't found a single service that the council wants to eliminate. It's just the cost of doing business. So be patient, but it is a significant problem.
Well, I'm glad you realize it, but like Adolfo and the ultimate woman, Wanda, there's not a city that has a better woman, a more intelligent woman.
I agree. I was her immediate supervisor when she was hired, so I take credit. Right?
I'm a teacher. I know smart people.
Thank you.
Right. But just let's get on this.
Thank you, Mr. Starr. And I know that City Manager Lee Garrity has stated on the lookout in regards to a possibility of hiring more individuals in the city. But I guess our concern is that we want to look at in the human relations department tier positions of the ladder of growth. And so that's just our concern. And it has been for a while to make sure that we can keep our veteran staff and there's a way they can move up. And so hopefully, and with a lot of praying, we hope that will come into effect and you all will consider that as well.
Absolutely.
Those tier positions. So.
Please keep the prayers too. They're good.
Yes. And we didn't put you on the spot either.
I live there. So that's okay.
I love Carlin. Manager Garrity, Carlin was my student.
Oh, okay.
And she holds track records that probably won't be broken. Look at
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. RJ Reynolds.
Yeah, it's unfortunate the last year with this pandemic, we don't see anybody face to face. I really miss the sticking my head in the door and saying, Carl, what's going on? So it is unfortunate. Soon we'll be back.
As a 63-year-old, it makes me happy. I've got a she's incredible. And Wanda is, but I'm so proud of Carlin and Jamie, but Carlin was my baby.
Thank you. And we appreciate all our staff as well. So, all right. So thank you for that, City Manager, Mr. Lee Garrity, and for that explanation as well. And we are hopeful that those positions, and those tier positions will be available sooner than later for our Human Relations department, because we do have a great staff as well. And we especially are thankful for our new staff member, Miss Iris McKnight, as well. So thank you for all your hard work also. So. All right. Next on our agenda is the chairperson updates. I really don't have too many updates. It's just the first update is the North Carolina HRC meeting date change reminder. That was sent out. That email was sent out this week, and I was trying to find the new date change, Ms. Wanda. I was trying to find in my phone while City Manager Mr. Lee Garrity was speaking. What was the new date today? It wasn't today, right?
April 22nd.
I don't think so.
Okay, okay.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Prep, something?
April the 22nd, I think.
April 22nd. Okay, April 22nd. Okay.
And that's different. You're attending, right, Commissioner Thompson?
Sorry. Good.
That's different from the one you're attending, right?
There was one today that was like the training, the statewide training.
Okay. Yeah, I was getting those two mixed up myself.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to make sure, because I did know that you were attending one yourself.
Yeah, there was one this afternoon
Okay.
from 2 to 4.
Okay.
Okay. All right. That's good. So the NCHRC meeting date change reminder is April the 26th or 22nd. Commissioner Preble.
You're on mute.
22nd.
22nd. Okay. All right. 22nd. So I'll make sure I put that on my calendar as well to attend. But of course, that is open to all of our commissioners if you wish to attend and your schedule permits to do so. But and this will be the training that Mr. Gene Troy will be present, correct? He's always okay. All right. So we know Mr. Troy is a good friend to ours. Well, I should say Reverend Troy is a good friend to ours as well, because he has present information to our commission at our retreats, but also in the past as well. So anyways, please save that date if you can attend that training with the North Carolina HRC meeting. Of course, there's other human relation commissions that are also on the line as well, and they'll share updates. And of course, Mr. Troy will give his updates as well that's related to human relations all across the state. So, and the next one is that City Manager Ms. Lee Garrity spoke a little bit about the NDO and the ad hoc, the NDO. He really spoke a lot about that in regards to what has already been in premature is going to be in place and what's going to move forward, in which we've been working hard on that, and we've been having some discussions in regards to the LGBTQ and that committee, et cetera. So he spoke a little bit about that in regards to where is it at and where is it standing at today. And I know we have had a lot of conversations about it as a commission, but I know it's also still floating around in the city about where do we stand as a commission. So it's great that City Manager Mr. Garrity was present today. So the city and as well the residents, they can hear it from the horse mouth as well, not just the Human Relations Commission. And Ms. Wanda, you want to touch a little bit on that as well?
Yes, thanks, Chair Leak, and I will also invite Mr. Garrity to help me out with this one. I'm talking about the ad hoc committee.
Yeah.
Right now, of course, that was a part of the package that was passed by City Council, as Mr. Garrity mentioned. This was this past Monday, and so now I have been working with Councilmember Kevin Mundy. He has reached out to me a couple of times this week about moving forward. And he was asking what the next steps are. And so that's where I wanted Mr. Garrity to kind of jump in terms of next steps, because I didn't want to provide any false expectations in terms of what we may need staff or as a commission. But right now I am trying to keep Councilmember Monday in the loop as far as what we may be doing as a staff and commission.
Yeah,
So,
Mr. Chairman, I'll add a little, if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, Councilmember Monday is very, very passionate about this issue. He has a lot of constituents who are very anxious for us to move forward. I met one when I was trying to get a vaccine. I could barely get the vaccine because they wanted to talk to me so long about this. And I understand the pent-up need to fix this problem. But I know the first thing that Wanda's working on for this group, for your commission, is coming up with an application form, I believe, Wanda, as I saw. But
yes.
It's pretty broad, the structure, and there's not a limit on the number of members, if I remember right. And so I think it's really relies on Wanda and you as a commission decide how you want to structure this ad hoc committee. There is a 18-month window, I believe, and there's some general charges related to basically coming up with a strategic plan. But I think my understanding is we really want a lot of input from the staff and the commission. And obviously council is going to stay involved, but they have very, very deliberately, the city council as a whole has tasked you all as the experts, to staff and commission members, to kind of shepherd this along, as I understand. Wanda, you know more than I do.
Okay, well, I just wanted to make sure I was on point, and that's exactly my understanding as well. And so at this point in time, it would be up to the Human Relations Commission to begin receiving volunteers who would like to serve on the ad hoc committee. And yes, there is an application that Councilmember Monday and I are working on and hoping to maybe have that finalized within the next week or so that it can be shared for the commission's review. But right now it's a very rough draft. It's just a basic application. And the biggest thing is just making sure that the wording on the application is inclusive, particularly since on most or all of the advisory boards, there's a uniform application that's used. And one of the entries on the application is asking for the person's gender. And so for this particular subcommittee, we wanted to make sure that we were being as inclusive as possible with asking for that information and documenting it in a way that helps the commission to understand whether or not there is enough fair representation on the subcommittee. And so that's really the main part that Councilmember Monday and I are working on, is making sure that wording is appropriate and that it's inclusive. And so after that, Chair Lee, it will come to the commission, and then again, the applications will be received, and it would just be a matter of the commission deciding who from the commission would like to be represented on that ad hoc committee. Because if you will recall, the language is such that I believe two commissioners are supposed to be liaisons and actually serve on that ad hoc committee. And so if there are two commissioners who are interested in doing so, it would be a great time to start thinking about that, or maybe even volunteer.
All right. Thank you. Well, commissioners is going to rely on us heavy, on, the shaping, the forming of this committee, and making sure that we have selecting the right individuals to be able to represent the committee that's standing for the NDO. So we are going to be relying on all of you all, and to think about if you do want to serve on that particular committee as well. So,
Chair Leek, would you like to ask tonight if there are volunteers who would like to serve on the ad hoc? That would help to get the ball rolling. Some people may already know an interest.
Are there any volunteers? All right, Commissioner Sarton. Okay. Anyone else? Well, we do have some commissioners out, so okay. Commissioner Price.
I'm very interested, but I need to check my schedule for the next couple of months at least to make sure that I'm not committing myself to something that I can't do as good of a job as needs to be done on.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Hey guys, I would also chime in that, like, can we find out like how often this is going to meet and like what the time commitment is? Because I'm perfectly.
Commissioner Bloom, that would be up to you all to try to help to kind of develop and figure out with keeping in mind that there is that 18-month window of time, as Mr. Garrity mentioned.
Okay. Is that a discussion we need to have with Councilmember Mundy?
Perhaps, or at least maybe what you all could do is make a recommendation or make a suggestion and then maybe ask for his input and feedback.
Okay.
Mr. Garrity, do you think it's necessary?
I think we got to keep him informed. Yeah, but you know, he's not a member of the actual committee. We want to keep him informed and make sure we're not steering some way that's, you know, he's hearing from a lot of citizens is not the right way. But this Human Relations Commission is still the parent of this ad hoc subcommittee, the way it's structured. So their recommendations are going to come back to you before they come to council, as I understand it, because it is a subcommittee. So I think it's really important that this group, you get the input from Councilor Mundy and anybody else, but I think you all need to be comfortable with what you do.
I think Jeff and I can do well together.
I work really well with Commissioner Sarton. I'll say that.
All right. Well, it looks like Commissioner Sarton and Commissioner Bloomfield. All right. And so I guess the staff, you all keep us updated, of course, with the producing of this committee, etc. As always. Okay. All right. That sounds good. All right. And I may pop my head in 1 or 2 times or something during our committee meetings as well, but I can't commit to anything else right as now. All right. Now we're going to move down to our committee reports. And our first committee report is community relations, and Commissioner Sarton, you're up.
I don't have more to report other than we have an upcoming trust talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jamie?
Yes.
April the 8th? Yeah.
April 8th at 6 o'clock.
Right.
And thank you, Commissioner Thompson and Commissioner Sarton and our Vice Chair Wiggins for also participating to be, of course, myself, to be facilitators for the discussions for the collegiate trust talk. So, of course, that is on April the 8th. So thank you all for volunteering to do so. We appreciate it.
I may, Chair Leak, I may be behind the ball, but thanks to Jamie for that wonderful showcase of song that she did.
Yes, it was great, and we're thankful to marketing as well. I told Ms. Wanda, I said that a lot of folks stated to me that they felt like they were actually there. It felt like church.
I loved it.
Yes, it was great.
I know it was last February, but anyway.
That's right. That's why we got to continue on giving dues where dues need to go to. Thank you.
We're glad you were pleased with the Black History Month program. Glad you were pleased. Hopefully we can do it in person next year.
We will.
Yeah. All right. Our next committee report is our. I'm going to go last for the executive report, if that's fine. and I'm going to let the others finish their reporting. So we're going to go down to C, to the hearing board, Commissioner Haynes, and she's not present. And I guess that's an easy one.
And so Chair Leak and just to represent the hearing board, there are no updates at this time.
All right, thank you so much. Our multicultural relations, Commissioner Preble.
Yeah, so because of COVID, the big pipeline sessions are still on hold. And the building integrated communities pipeline will be working on possibly starting back up in the fall.
Okay. All right, thank you. A new fair housing report. We are planning our 2021 virtual fair housing and affordable housing summit, and the flyer registration information will be coming out in the coming days. So please try to attend the event virtually. And one great thing about it is that if you do not attend it virtually, marketing, WSTV 13, they will continue on replaying it. So you ain't got to go nowhere. But one thing that I will miss this year will be that wonderful buffet that we always have, Ms. Wanda. So, but, well, of course, all the great information. But anyways.
Of course.
But please be looking out for the information about in regards to registration, as well about this summit as well. Ms. Wanda, do you want to add anything?
I think you've pretty much covered it. I think it will be a very good program. The discussion will be good, as they always have been, and I think that we're in for a treat, even though it will be virtual.
Yes, yes. All right, thank you so much. All right, in the absence of Commissioner Vice Chair Wiggins, Student Human Relations, Jamie wants to read. You want to read that for us? Thank you.
Sure. So the committee diligently worked to plan the 2021 Virtual Student Human Relations Awards ceremony. It did air in February, the same night as our last meeting. All the awards and program souvenir booklets will be delivered to Winston-Salem Forsyth County School District office next week for the families of student awardees. The program can also be viewed on the city's YouTube page or the Human Relations website if you have not watched it yet. And if it's okay, I will share with you all briefly the program that we did finalize. And I have it open, but it's not wanting to show up in my share. Just a moment here. There we go. Okay, and I'll just slowly scroll through here. If you've seen one the past few years, it's very similar, just a little smaller without all the ads.
And so, commissioners, this reflects the speaking lineup during the actual video itself. And so you will see that I'm kind of kicking it off. Jamie, can you go back up? And then we'll go on down to Mayor Joins and our new superintendent and the entertainment, which is student entertainment. And of course, our keynote speaker, Vice Chair Wiggins, just going on down the order. And so we don't think that it will be anything surprising or different than what we have seen in the past. But the big thing with the presentations, I think it will be really, really fun, hopefully and engaging for everyone. And we do make sure, as always, that the students are participants in the actual program. We just didn't want a bunch of adults putting on this program for them. We want it to be their program, their acknowledgement. Even though they're the ones getting the honor or honors, they need to also feel like they helped to cultivate what we're doing for them. And so you'll see that reflected, I believe. That's my hope anyway. So there's just a history of the department and commission. And of course, the mayor always has a letter. Oh, yeah, and right there, the commissioners and staff are listed. So your names are in the booklet. And then there's the mayor's letter as always. We always have a letter from Mr. Garrity after that. And we like to put pictures with the letter so that people can associate names with faces. And then after that will be the letter from Chair Leek and I. And then going on, there's a letter from Superintendent McManus. And so, of course, we have her picture there too. And then we get to the good part, which is all of the awardees. And so this is the fun part. This is where you actually get to see these smiling faces of these outstanding and awesome students. It just warms our hearts every year to actually get to see them. And when they walk across the stage, usually we get to shake their hands. But anyway, this will have to do this year, but some of them you can actually get a sense of what they're like. You can sense their energy just looking at their headshots. Awesome, awesome, awesome students. And Commissioner Price, once again, kudos to you. Kudos. And so Commissioner Price has a student awardee here. And so we just really want to commend him and all of the other parents for this. Also, you'll see this little ad from the fire department. They're one of our sponsors this year. And this year, commissioners, our biggest cost is producing the booklet along with the awards, because we're actually giving them physical awards like we always do. They'll get the trophies. And so next week, Jamie anticipates dropping off the souvenir booklets that you're looking at. This is the booklet, and then the awards to the school district office, and they will in turn get those out to the parents. Look at there. Commissioner Price, that's
Look, just like
He's so cute.
Yeah.
He is very cute. And then you'll see there on this page all of the logos from the different advisory boards, including the Winston-Salem Human Relations Commission. Commissioner Price, were you about to say something?
Oh, no. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And so there is the information about our keynote speaker, Reverend Scovins. And then we have the great ad that we have every year from the Winston-Salem Police Department. They are a loyal supporter and sponsor of the banquet each and every year. So they did the same even for this virtual ceremony, and we really appreciate them for that. So that is the souvenir booklet.
Listen there. Will we be able to get a copy of it, the booklet?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Jamie. As well.
You're welcome.
With marketing. Thank you, Jamie.
Yes. All right. In my executive committee report, the first thing is they're going to is a reminder of our upcoming HRC meeting schedule, which we did vote last month in regards to continue on meeting. And I think that the only change was it was in regards to our retreat, that we will still have a retreat, but it'll be virtual. Is that correct? Everyone follow me? Okay, I'm making sure.
That's the way it's looking now, Chair Leek, unless things dramatically change between now and August.
Correct. And of course, my wife is still pregnant, so our baby will be here on May 10th, Lord's willing. But of course, I will be away from the commission for about 3 months. But I will be back in August to participate at the retreat as well. So.
And Chair Leek, if I may interject there too, I would recommend that in your absence, since Vice Chair Wiggins will be the acting chair in your absence, that also have an acting vice chair, because Chair Wiggins will need someone to back her up just in case there's a situation in which she can't make a meeting.
That's right. So we will need a interim vice chair. Do we need to discuss that? We don't need to ask for any considerations tonight, do we? It's kind of still.
Well, if anybody has any nominations or if
Desire,
anybody wants
yeah.
to volunteer, it might be a good time. You do have a quorum, so you all could technically go ahead and move forward with that.
Are there anyone that would like to take on that interim vice chair role? Or you want to nominate someone, you can nominate yourself.
I'd be happy to volunteer myself.
All right. Commissioner Price has agreed to nominate himself. All right.
I second it.
All right. Well, he can't. Okay. Commissioner Sartin, thank you, but he can't make his own motion, so we need a motion. Can you make the motion then?
Certainly. I motion that Commissioner Josh Price is second, assistant, whatever it is.
Acting vice chair.
Acting vice chair.
Vice chair. I
During
that I nominate Commissioner Josh Price for vice chair.
I second that.
That's acting vice chair
Yeah.
in Chair Leake's absence.
Exactly.
Acting vice chair. Okay. It was second by Commissioner Taylor. Commissioner Thompson.
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Bloomfield.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner Preble.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner Price.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner Sartin.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor.
Aye.
And Chair Leake, of course, aye as well. Any opposed discussions? All right, the ayes carry it. Is unanimous. All right. Congratulations, Commissioner Price. I know you do well in my absence as well. I have confidence as well, and Commissioner Vice Chair Wiggins as well. So every now and then I will still, even though I'm be at home, but I'm going to still watch the meetings as well if I have time to do it. But anyways, but I'm still here as of right now. So somebody said to me that they think she'll come a week early. I said no, let her stay in there as long as she can for that 9 months. Yeah, let her get everything what she needs while she's still in the building. Okay, all right. And the next thing is before we wrap up tonight's meeting, and we allow Miss Wanda to give her update, we need to begin to think about planning for our retreat in August, which will consist of the review of our 2022 and 2024 strategic action plan items, and a discussion in regards to the industry of best practices. So I know we had a retreat last. We had a retreat last year. We had a retreat last year. No, we did not. We didn't have a retreat last year. Well, year before last, we had one. That's right. The COVID was last year. But we actually had a strategic plan. So now, since we have a lot of new commissioners, this is the time that we all can think about what do we want to see added to the strategic plan and ideas as we move forward with the work of the Human Relations Commission. I was thankful to see that City Manager Lee Garrity was available to speak to us in regards to our work as well, but also to speak to us about the NDO ad hoc committee, so how that's going to look. So we see now that we have a lot of work ahead of us, and we need to make sure that we are putting things in place, the channels and controls as well. I'm still hopeful that we will gain some type of tier positions that our veteran staff will be able to be promoted, and as the work grows, because this work is going to grow, especially since now we're adding another committee to the Human Relations Commission as well. So, and that's going to take another staff member's role as well, pulling from other staff members currently, because they're gonna have to be able to train that person. What I'm speaking of right now in the future, if we have a new staff member, so it's gonna take basically gaining that wisdom from Miss Wanda, as well Jamie, Adolfo, as well Carlin as well, So, but in the meantime, we can continue on this focusing on what we want to put in place for our strategic plan for the HRC. I said this before, and I want to say this again, and I'll say it next month as well, then I'll say it at the retreat. You know, this commission is not ran like a nonprofit. So let's be aware of that. You know, we're going to be discussing the strategic plan in August, but let's be reminded that we are here to govern just the work of the human relations that is tied into the city. So our role is not to govern the staff. Our role is not to manage the staff. Our role is to think of ways and think of ideas to how to improve the betterment of the citizens here in Winston-Salem and all races as well. So I did want to put that out there that a lot of time I think folks, they, think that their role is to try to manage staff or manage the director. That's none of that. They have bosses who they report to. But what our role is to advise, our recommendations. And then that's why we have different committees. And, most of our work is done in committees, then commissioner meetings as well. So any comments or questions? Hopefully I made that clear somewhat. Swan, do you want to add to that or?
No, not at all. We're just looking forward to helping the commission plan for the retreat in August. Looking forward to that, and hopefully everyone is giving a lot of thought to what the upcoming items for the new strategic action plan can be. So everyone should have the copy of the current strategic action plan, but if you do not, please let me know and I can resend it.
Okay, so in the meantime, everyone, please review over the previous, our currently strategic plan, say the previous, our current strategic plan, and think of items that should be added or need to be added to the strategic plan for our retreat in August. So, all right, I think that's all of my updates on the executive end. We're going to move down to the director's update, Ms. Wanda.
Yes, thank you, Chair Leak. We really don't have a lot of updates in terms of staff that we haven't already discussed. One of the biggest things is what Mr. Garrity mentioned earlier, which is that our Assistant City Manager, Evan Raleigh, is not going to remain our Assistant City Manager because he's moving on and he will be the Assistant City Manager for the City of Raleigh. And so he will be starting there in just a few weeks, April the 12th, I think it is. And so right now we have an interim Assistant City Manager, and her name is Tasha Logan Ford. And she currently is also the Assistant City Manager for Recreation and Parks, Community Development, and Business Inclusion, the Business Inclusion Department. And so we will be working with her until further notice. We don't know if she will remain our Assistant City Manager or if we may be shifted once things settle down a little bit. But right now, that is what we're looking at. So that's the biggest thing that I did want to mention. In terms of HUD updates, HUD is going through a similar situation, some changes going on right now. Our current structure with HUD in terms of our government technical representatives, GTRs, they call them, they are the same. And those are the people who do our HUD audits. Those are the folks that we call on to ask questions if we have any questions about something going on with an investigation. That's our point person at that level. And so right now, there are two of them. And one is in South Carolina and one is in Florida. And so that's a change. but that was a change that was made about a year ago. So that, to my knowledge, is still the same. That is still the case. We still have the same 2 people. That's pretty much it in terms of HUD updates, other than what you already know about, which is that our fair housing ordinance was a part of that package deal, that NDO deal, back on Monday night when the city council voted to approve amending our local fair housing ordinance, which now includes sexual orientation and gender identity. And so that goes along with the non-discrimination ordinance language and the personnel resolution language as well. So that's about it as far as staff updates and HUD updates.
All right, thank you so much. And Adolfo, he had his report, Commissioner Bloomfield, his report was mentioned after our approval of the minutes because he was celebrating his son's birthday today. So any other comments, announcements? We don't have any presentations or new business thus far. All right, if not, can I obtain a motion to adjourn?
Wait, I do have a quick question.
Okay. Sorry.
And also, it wasn't my son's birthday, but so I had the housing justice people reach out to me, and they wanted to know about the EDM program, and I did not know anything about that. But they claim that it is run. Is it run through the Human Relations Department?
Yes, Commissioner Bloomfield, thanks for sharing that. I was also contacted by the Housing Justice Now folks. Actually, Professor Dan Rose at Winston-Salem State is involved in that group, and I have known him and worked with him by way of our gentrification symposium. A couple, he was one of our main partners with that and helped us to arrange the space. So he does know how to contact me, but I heard from someone else who works with him on with that. And so I did respond to that person. I sent an email. And so the questions that were asked have been addressed. We've also invited Housing Justice Now to be a part of our call next week on April the 1st at 1:00 p.m. We're having a Zoom call to provide updates on landlord-tenant here in Winston-Salem. Anything relating to landlord-tenant laws, practices, rental assistance, CARES Act, any of that type of thing. We're going to be talking about it on April the 1st. We have invited community stakeholders such as HAWS, Housing Authority, community development, staff, legal aid, Housing Justice Now, the Piedmont Triad Apartment Association, the Winston-Salem Regional Association of Realtors. I mean, it's just a plethora of different stakeholders, Financial Pathways of the Piedmont, ESR, and so on, United Way. They're all going to be represented on this call. And we're going to be talking about what each agency has been doing over the past year in terms of rental assistance, in terms of helping people who have been facing evictions and have been dealing with and fighting those off. Just whatever is going on with these respective organizations, we want to provide updates during this call. And so they were invited to attend. Jamie has already sent out the Zoom invitation. So if anyone on the commission would like to be a part of that Zoom call, we would really, really encourage you to do so. Chair Leak, I cannot remember if you were planning to be on, but I think you are because we do have several members of the Horizons Fair Housing Committee who will be joining us.
Could you fill us in on what the EDM program was or is? Because I was like, I had no idea what they're talking about.
Okay, Commissioner Bloomfield, I don't know if you recall when probably about a year ago, I mentioned to the commission that we were contacted by Judge Lisa Menifee about partnering on an eviction diversion program. She wanted to know if we could expand upon our current landlord-tenant mediation program to be able to assist the courts with their docket, because they were anticipating having a lot of landlord-tenant eviction cases, non-payment of rent cases, and so they wanted to have a mechanism in place that could assist landlords and tenants with mediating a lot of these eviction cases. And so that's exactly what we did. We teamed up with Legal Aid, our local legal aid office, and with Wake Forest University School of Law. in our city attorney's office, and we created the Eviction Diversion Mediation Program. And so what we've been doing is we've been mediating cases that are based on evictions that relate to COVID-19 related reasons, those cases that would fit under the moratorium, to make sure that landlords and tenants are working out something that is mutually beneficial for them both. And so we've been doing that for quite some time. We've been sharing some of those cases with Wake Forest, because Professor Steve Virgil there runs a community law clinic, and he has law students who are engaged in helping with mediation as well. And so we've been doing that for quite some time now, like I said, almost a year. But the biggest thing for the court is the magistrates have agreed to continue cases in order to afford us the opportunity and the time to hopefully successfully mediate some of these cases. That is how it benefits them and hopefully helps to ease some of the burden on their docket. So that's in a very big nutshell what the Eviction Diversion Mediation Program is.
Okay, thanks. That was very helpful. That must have like fallen through the cracks somewhere with all the COVID stuff.
Yeah, probably. And we would be happy. What we can do is, Carlin, would you make a note? We can send the flyer out to the commission. So we'll send the flyer out to you that is given out at the courthouse, because actually the clerk of court has agreed to work with the magistrates and other court personnel to make sure that the EDM flyer is attached to summary ejectment paperwork when it goes out. So that's how they're helping us as well. They help us to disseminate that flyer so that the parties know that they do have this as an option.
That'll be great.
So we'll share the flyer.
All right, and thank you for that, bringing that back up, Commissioner Bloomfield, because we were discussing that as well in regards to the evictions, and we are familiar with, some of us are familiar with the Housing Justice Coalition group based here out of Winston-Salem, but hopefully we'll all be able to come to some type of common agreement of knowledge of what's occurring in our city. And once again, thank you, Ms. Wanda, for bringing clarity to that as well in regards to eviction, because a lot of folks, they are not clear about that. I know some folks that have basically stopped paying rent because basically they had, their income, the hours were cut due to COVID, but it wasn't because they had COVID. So anyways, I think our next week's call will bring a lot of clarity in regards to landlord and tenant evictions that's going on across our city. So everyone can be aware of it on different platforms as well, areas of the occupation what they represent. So I think it's going to be a great call. And commissioners, if you can pop your head in, please do so. And there is no link to register or anything. We just gotta, if commissioners want to actually participate, they can just reach out to Carlin. Okay.
Yes, Carlin, Jamie, or I can send you the link for the Zoom call. Chair Lee can also look in the chat right now if anybody's able to look in the chat. Jamie did post the link. So we do have eviction diversion mediation information on our website. It's been up there since last May or June. And so if anybody would like to read more about the eviction diversion mediation program or about our landlord tenant mediation program in general, Jamie did post the link in chat. Thank you for doing that, Jamie.
All right. Thank you. So please take time to look at that as well. All right. Any other comments, concerns, or any questions before we adjourn for tonight? All right, if there are none, we're gonna do this once again. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Commissioner Price. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Preble. Commissioner Thompson?
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Sargent?
Oh, Commissioner Sarton, you're on mute.
All right, Commissioner Preble.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor.
Aye.
Commissioner Bloomfield.
Aye.
Thank you. And of course, myself, Commissioner Chair Leak. Aye. Any opposed? Any discussions? All right, everybody have a blessed remainder of the night. I know it's like it's pouring down raining outside, so let's pray that our lights stay on. All right, everybody have a blessed night. Thank you.